Hello all, thank you for joining back. So in this tutorial we will discuss about EC2 Practical. Okay, we'll go for EC2 Practical, how to create a EC2, how do we access it, okay, through the console and using the putty, and we'll go step by steps everything. So first of all, I'm logged into my AWS using my account. I'll go to the EC2 here or here, whichever is selected. You can click anywhere. Click on EC2 once this page is loaded. Okay, so here this is your EC2 page. If you see here, the running instance is 0. It means there is no server right now which is created. Okay, Elastic Compute Cloud is a server. There is no server which is created. So let's create the server quickly. We'll click on running instance. So inside that, if you see that nothing is there, it's blank. Okay, so we can click on launch instance to create a new instance. Okay, once we'll be here, if you see here, the first step is asking us to choose a Amazon machine image. So as we discussed earlier in our theory lecture, Amazon machine image is a already ready-made image of either Linux box. For example, this is Linux image, this is Red Hat Linux, this is a Ubuntu image. If you go down further, this is Microsoft Windows image. So image is nothing, just like when you use this image, when the server will be up, when you log into the server, you will see that the server is pre-installed with this Windows or Linux, right? You don't need to install and buy a CD of Windows license or Linux license. Okay, so we'll capture this free tier eligible. Okay, and we'll select this Linux machine here. In this, it is asking to choose an instance type, right? So instance type is basically what kind of hardware we want to use. For example, if we choose T2, right? So if it is a T2, then it contains with the CPU 1, right, options, memory 0.5 and 1 GB. So whichever we select, it will come with that hardware, CPU, memory, and the storage class. It is a EBS or what kind of storage, like elastic block storage. So this is what we need to select it while hardware. So there are many hardware which we discussed earlier, like T2, and if you scroll further, M5 category, more we discussed earlier, R series, which is for the memories, right? M4 series for larger. So the here if you see, CPU is 16, memory is 64 GB till 256 GB EBS. So all this hardware function will get increased and the cost will be obviously increased. For this tutorial, since it is free, so we'll select free tier eligible T2 micro, and this will going to choose for all rest of the tutorial requirement as well. In this page, it will ask you number of instances. So right now, if you want to create 5 server at the same time, you can choose 5 also, or if you, for now we'll select 1. Okay, purchase option, we discussed this in our theory. Request for the spot instances. So you see the price is there. It's like your price bid, like share bazaar market bid, right? So same thing like that. So you can choose a price. So current bidding price is 35. If you choose below this price, you will not get a server. But if you bid either on this price or more than this price, so you have to fill the price here. So for example, here you can fill 0.0035, yeah, or 0.0038. So if you fill this price, if the server is available, it will assign to you. If not, then it will not assign. Okay, so things like that. So we don't need to bid it right now. Networking, it is a VPC, virtual private cloud. We'll discuss entire networking in the next upcoming tutorial shortly after this. So for now, you consider that we'll attach some kind of network to the servers, obviously. So we use a default. If you see here bracket default, it will assign some IP address default. We can create our VPC also, virtual private cloud, networking as well, and keep it as it is. Let's keep it simple for now. Select this. Subnet, we are not adding any subnet right now. We'll keep it simple. Public IP, yes, we need is public IP to access this EC2 instances. I'll show you how to access it, okay, remotely. And let's keep all these things simple. No need to change anything. Okay, we'll just keep it as it is and go to the add storage. I can launch it anywhere because review and launch option is available in the previous slide also. Okay, I don't want to. We can skip all next and immediately launch as per our requirement, but we can, I'm showing you next so that we can go through it once for the first time at least. This stage it asking to add a storage to the server. So storage is one is the root storage, which is required to install a OS, Windows OS, Linux OS, right? So this volume, there is a volume, and volume type is EBS, which we selected while we choose the server, right, in the beginning. And it will show these are the segregation like GP2 category, IOPS related, right, volumes. So these volumes we can select it as per requirement. We can add more volume also. For example, you want 500 GB more hard disk in this, right? So I can add this, I can increase this 500 GB size. And if you see here, more options are available for the additional volumes. Okay, cold HDD was cannot be used as a root volume, but here it is there. So that is the difference. We don't need a additional volume as of now, so I'll delete this. I'll keep the root volume. That should be enough for us. And if you see here, delete termination, there is a small checkbox. If you don't check this, when you shut down the server, delete the server, terminate the server, this hard disk will be deleted if you check it. If you don't check it, this hard disk will be sit also, it will not delete. So but we want this to be deleted, otherwise it will be cost to us. Okay, so we'll keep this checkbox. Click on add tag. We can add any tag. Tag is just a nomenclature. You want to identify the server. Henceforth, I'll just keep the name or type of the server like that, and I'll mention it like this is my web server, something like that. Okay, let's go to the security group. Security group is like your firewall. So every network has a firewall, right? So similarly, you can attach a firewall where you can access the server. For example, this is a Linux server, so 22 ports is coming up. So I want to open and access this server using this firewall 22. I can block this also, okay, and I can add more ports also depending upon my need. For example, I want to use port 80, right? So I can choose HTTP if it is my web server, right? I want to use 80 ports, so I can use it. I don't want it, then I'll just delete this like this, okay? And this source is, it is showing custom. So right now, if it is 000, it is open for the entire world. So because it will contain a public IP, and if I open this for the entire world, anyone can access it. But if I put my IP, then it will open only from my public IP. So I'll keep it like this for now. And then we'll go, or rather we'll keep it open. Custom is, I can put some, for example, my corporate network is there. So I can put that IP, 10.class A IP, right? That we can put here. Let me open it for now everywhere. That's okay. It's testing anyway. I'm going to delete it after the demo. Review and launch quickly. And it's saying your security group is open to the world. I say fine, no problem. Let's launch it. When we launch it, it's asking to download a key pair. Key pair is like obviously a server has a username, password, things like that, right? So it is a key pair which contain a public and a private IP, right? So I don't have a key pair. Let's select a new key pair, give it in a name, my web server key pair, okay, something like that, anything you can give, and then click on download. So it will download your key pair. So you have got your key pair here and it's downloaded, and then click on launch instances. We click here, it will launch the instance. So almost instance is launched. Let's see if it is in running state or not. So I refresh this and still it is pending state. Okay, so I'm pausing it for now. I'll resume as it comes. Okay guys, so I can see the server is in running state now. Okay, if I click this checkbox small and we click here to see the server properties, and if you see here, there is a public IP which is assigned to the server. Okay, so we'll use this public IP to access this server. Okay, now the thing is, to access this server, what is required for us? How do I access this server now? Okay, so we require a PuTTY. Okay, so two things we require in PuTTY. One is the PuTTY. Let's download this PuTTY first. So you need to go to the Google, just type PuTTY, right? You select this Jira one. Okay, so two PuTTY we need. One is the PuTTY installer for Windows. You can click here, it will download this PuTTY installer. Okay, and we need a PuTTY gen also. Okay, this one 64-bit. Obviously I think everybody has this 64-bit window machine, so we'll download this PuttyGen and this putty. Okay, so we have to install this PuttyGen. I'll go here, shoot my folder, what all things are there, and PuttyGen I have already downloaded it in the past. Okay, I have installed it. You just right click and install it. So once you're done with the installation, we can open this, close and open the putty. So I'll search for PuttyGen. Once we select this PuttyGen, it will open something like this. Okay, so let's go back to PuttyGen. Yeah, so what we need to do is we need to load our file. Okay, the key basically. So I've downloaded it in the download section, and the file, these are the old key, so just ignore this for now. Let me select all. Initially it will not show you because it is not in the proper format. Now you see where is my web server, that's the key, PEM key, right? So we need to convert this key from PEM to PPK to understand it by the putty. Okay, that's why we downloaded PuttyGen. PuttyGen is to conversion your putty PEM to PPK. Okay, so I'll select this .pem, click on open. Okay, it's successfully imported, right? And then I'll click on save private key. Okay, it is asking, I sure want to save this key without a paraphrase to protect. I say yes. Okay, and then we can save it. I'll say my web server private key. Okay, and now it is PPK. Earlier it was .pem. So we need to convert this to PPP. That's why we use PuttyGen. Okay, just save it, and that's it. This job is done for PuttyGen. Now we need putty. So we already downloaded putty and installed it. Just open the putty, and once you open the putty, we have to pass on the IP address of the server. So let's copy it quickly. If I have not copied it in the past, I have copied it. This is the public IP. We need to copy it. We need to paste it here, and we need to attach that private key. So just click on SSH, click on auth, click on browse, and here you see your my web server key, private key. Click on this, go back to your session. IP is there. I think it's same IP. Let's double check it. 128. Yeah, it's right. Let's click open. So here you go. I got this blank and I'm connected. So it's asking a username. So every time you need to write a username at EC2-user. That's the username you need to use. And once you are done with this, okay, then we can, yeah, so great. So I'm able to log in now, and we have access to this. Okay, I will just elevate myself, sudo su, and then clear this. So you now have your first EC2 server and you got this access. Okay, let's see if I can access the AWS S3 also. So I'll type AWS S3, I'll type list. Can I see? It said no. So now till here I am logged in to EC2, but I cannot do anything. I cannot access any of the AWS services. Okay, so to do that, it's saying you can configure credential by running AWS configure. Okay, so I need to log in it with some account, username and password. Okay, so let's create an account quickly. I'll go to the IAM. We create a user in the IAM, right? So we'll create a user now again. Is there any user? There is no user. So we'll create a user quickly. Add user. I'll say test Navik. Okay, and then I will give it a programmatic access. Okay, that's why we can access to the CLI, right? If I give a console, then only the web page, like I am logged in, it can access. If I give a programmatic access, then it can access your AWS content like S3 from the server via the API, CLI or SDK, right? So that's why we'll select it. And we'll create a role, a group. So I think already I have the admin group, or you can create a new group like this. and you can say I need to have a S3 access. So what I will do is I will search S3. Okay, and it will give me S3 full access. Let's not give this to all entire. I just give this group S3. So I'll name it S3 access group. You cannot give a space in the name, something like that. Okay, and let's create a group and selected this. So this user will be part of this group. Click on next, tagging. I need a tag. I'll say name for EC2 for S3 access, something like that. Okay, anything just for understanding. I think we are good. Create user quickly. So if you see here, my user is created, and since I selected programmatic, that's why I got this key. If I didn't select programmatic, I would have not received this, okay, access key. So I'll just download this CSV file. So it will download my key. Now, once this is done, I'll close this. This user is ready, and we will open our CSV file to get and fetch the secret key and access key. So if you see here, I got it, my access key here as well as secret access key. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go back to putty back, and now to log in I'll type AWS configure. Okay, and enter. It will ask my secret access key ID first. So just copy it, Control C, Control V, and enter, and then the password. So the password is secret access key, copy and paste and enter. I'll keep the region default, which is, let's take US East 1, which is North Virginia region. Let's keep it default output format, and I'm done. So now I'm logged in with some kind of user credential which has a access of your API and CLI based, and it has access of AWS S3. So now let's type the AWS S3 ls again. Whoa, no error now. So I can now see these are the bucket which I created in my account. If you go to my account, and if we see here the S3, what our buckets are here, let's cross verify. So if we click over here, and you see all these 3 buckets are available, which are the same buckets which I can see here, right? So that's how we can access our log into our EC2 first server, and then we can access the content of the bucket. I can create a new bucket also. So what we'll do with AWS S3 make bucket, and I'll give a bucket name. So I'll do S3 : / 1 minute, type where, give a space. Okay, S3 : / I'll do a first Navic bucket, something like that. Okay, first Navic bucket. Let's create it. So now if you see make bucket, it's successful. So if I see AWS S3 ls again, it will show me this bucket is created. If I go back to the server and let's refresh this page, so right now it is 3. It should show me the 4th one again. Okay, let's refresh it here. See, one more bucket is created. So now I can create the bucket from the Linux machine by accessing it via API credential, and then we can create a bucket since we have a permission to do that. Okay, so this is how you can control the servers, either through the console or using the APIs or using the CLI commands, right? We can access it. In the next slide, we'll further check on this, how we can without this secret, because now we have provided this ID and secret ID, right? So it will go get stored somewhere in the server. So it's not safe to use and access like this on day-to-day basis. So what we will do is we'll test this in the next practical, how we can assign access this S3 from the Linux box without using this access key and secret access key. Okay, so just check on that video to learn that. Okay, thank you, bye bye.